We are kicking off the moving vlogs. It's been a dicey 48 hours. I wanted to film more of the like packing up process, but wasn't in the cards. So quick little recap of the plan, because I realized I never actually told you guys like how I'm getting from point A to point B. I've just kind of shared like very high overview on what's happening. So I scheduled for a pod to get dropped off because I can't afford movers door to door, to be completely honest. Pod was supposed to get here 2 days ago. Then Bookstore Movers is gonna come this morning to help fill the pod. Pod is gonna get picked up this afternoon, and then I'm driving to my dad's house with like suitcases and Leo and everything else that's in my car. I'm gonna leave my car there. Somebody will pick it up tomorrow, and I have a flight tomorrow morning that's one way to San Francisco. So in my head, that was like the cheapest, most feasible way to get from point A to point B, besides literally driving everything attached to my car, which just isn't in the cards because of Leo. Had quite a few issues with the pod that I will spare you guys. The new biggest issue is that it says it's an 8-foot pod, which it is on the outside, it's not on the inside. It's like a 6-inch difference, and the only reason I am bringing all of my stuff is because of the couch. So the couch is now not gonna fit in the pod unless it's on a complete angle, like at a 45-degree angle. I have to show you guys, my boyfriend plotted it out in like Python or some coding program, I don't know what it was, but this is what we're working with. So it's going to be a tight fit if it even fits at all. And then if it does fit on an angle, I'm obviously not going to be able to fit as much around it as I initially planned for. So at this point, I've kind of paused packing. I'm gonna wait for Bookstore to get here. This video is in partnership with them. I was thinking all morning of what I could say to express how grateful and how much I love them as a business, and I am truly at a loss for words. Like, partnership aside, they are probably the best business that I know, just in terms of like customer service, being professional, delivering on time, reasonable rates. I'm gonna talk about them more throughout the video, but I am just so incredibly grateful that they're coming, because I know they're going to be able to help me through all of this. But once they get here, I'm gonna see if they can fit the couch in, and then I guess we'll just kind of build around it. My dad is also on his way over, which I really didn't want to bother him to come all the way here, which I know he doesn't care. He's my dad, he's happy to help, you know, and he probably appreciates me like letting him help, because I'm so stubborn about doing things on my own sometimes. That is the current status of everything. Like I said, Bookstore is on their way. They should be here in like the next 15 minutes or so, and then I think I'll check in after. Like I mentioned earlier, this video is in partnership with Bookstore Movers. I think this was my 4th move with Bookstore, and the first 2 were completely unsponsored. They didn't know I had a YouTube channel, and even then they were incredibly efficient, professional, kind, on time, everything you could possibly want from movers. I'm sure if you're in DC, you already know their story, but if you don't, I'm gonna leave the full thing linked down below. But essentially, Bookstore Movers was founded to help raise money to eventually buy Capitol Hill Books in Eastern Market. And if you haven't checked out Capitol Hill Books, definitely add that to your list. But Bookstore really does it all. They offer storage, moving, and labor loads. So if you're in the DMV area and you have an upcoming move, I'm gonna go ahead and leave their free online estimate form down below. There's no obligation obligation. It just kind of helps them get a sense of what you need and if they're available. There's a question on that form asking how you found Bookstore movers, and if you put my name, I believe you will get 10% off of a local move. I know I've said it a million times, but thank you again to Bookstore movers, and let's get back to the vlog. The movers just left. This is the current status of everything. It does look like there's a lot of small things, but that's intentional because I'll be able to put those in my car, which will arrive faster than the pod. So I need to go throw in the TV and then maybe the mirror in here. Somebody's coming to pick up the bed frame, and then I was debating on taking the mirror, but since there's room, I might go ahead and throw that in now. But the rest of the stuff will fit in the car pretty easily or in my suitcases, so we're feeling good. Leo isn't as scared as I thought he would be either, which is also good because he usually gets pretty jumpy when the space is completely empty like this. So things are definitely turning around, feeling much better. Very long day, but we did it. The place is looking good, and we're heading over to my dad's house.
All of us here at Alaska Airlines are proud members of the One World Alliance. It has been our pleasure serving you this morning. Whether this is your first time flying Alaska or you do fly with us often, we'd like to say thank you and take care.
Let's do a quick little catch-up session because I feel like this vlog is all over the place, but that's probably just because I feel like I'm all over the place. I landed pretty early yesterday morning and everything went about as smoothly as it could have, considering Leo had never flown before. I feel like he did really well. He cried a little bit on takeoff when I had to put him out of my lap and kind of on the ground. I kept going back and forth on if it was better to have him on my lap in the carrier versus under the seat. I just couldn't tell which was like absorbing more of the turbulence, but he ended up crying way less when I was holding him and I could like kind of stick my hand in the carrier a little bit. So that's what we did for the majority of the flight. He was pretty well behaved. Both of my bags made it as well, which was huge for morale just because normally I wouldn't put anything like essential in a checked bag, but because I had so much of Leo's stuff in my backpack, I really only had my laptop and my hard drives with me, like all of my clothing, all of my toiletries, and I mean, everything was replaceable, but it was just stuff that was nice to have. The first like 24, 48 hours here was in my 2 suitcases, so it was really great to see on the air tags that those had made it to the airport as well. We drove back to the house and there's a little room that I'll show you guys in a second that we just put Leo in because it was like the smallest contained area he could be in. And then it has doors kind of on either side of it that open up to 2 other rooms. So it was a way to like slowly expose him to the full house. And he did really well in there. He wasn't as scared being here as he was when he got to my dad's. I don't know if he just hit his threshold of like experiencing new things, that he just accepted it of like, this is what my life is like now, or the medicine was just really kicking in. But he really had no problem adjusting here, which was a big relief for me. I also haven't really shared any details of the house that we're renting this year. I feel like a lot of people assumed that I was downsizing in this move, and we actually ended up upsizing by like, I mean, this might be the biggest house I've ever lived in. And it worked out really well, this specific layout, because we were able to separate the pets. My boyfriend has a dog, and they hadn't met before, and I just wasn't really sure, neither of us were, how that was gonna go. So I think we were both planning on being overly cautious with that and like not even introducing them the first week or 2 that we were here. But the doors are actually kind of high on the hinges. Like there's probably 1.5 inches between the floor and the bottom of the door. So Leo was able to fully stick his paws under the door, and they kept interacting under the door and like almost whining that they weren't seeing each other. So we just kind of cautiously like opened the doors, holding both of them back. And keep in mind, Leo has never really seen or met a dog. Like the only time he's been exposed to them is when I take him to the vet, and he's still like in his carrier. It's not really the same. So I assumed he'd be scared, but he just instinctively wanted to follow him around everywhere. Maybe he just seemed more confident, or the smell was somewhat familiar from being around my boyfriend, but they really had no issues. We're still keeping them relatively separated and just doing like little 15-minute meet and greets, if you will, the first couple of days. So that was a really big relief for me, at least, to know that they were gonna be on good terms very quickly. Like I had been preparing for weeks of like just horrible behavior out of both of them. But like I said, Leo's adjusting really well. He has access to these 3 rooms right now, and I think I'm gonna take him to the rest of the upstairs at some point tonight or tomorrow morning. But let me show you guys the house really quick. I want to do a really quick high-level house tour because I am so excited about this space. I didn't actually get a chance to tour it in person when I was visiting, and I'd just seen videos and photos from my boyfriend, but it's even better than I could have imagined. It's massive. I don't even know if I'll be able to show you guys the basement today because my boyfriend's office is down there and like our guest room is down there. And I'll probably insert a clip after he finishes working of me just like doing a quick pan. But if we had like these 3 rooms that you guys can see right here, I'm pretty sure combined are bigger than my last apartment. So lots of space to decorate, and I'm really, really excited. So I'm gonna bring you guys to the front door and then show you guys around. When you first walk in, we have this little entryway. There's a little mirror here, if it'll focus. And then coming over to the right is the main living room. Also, apologies in advance. I'm sure it's super echoey in here just because we don't have any furniture yet. But as you can see, it's just an absolutely massive room. There's a ton of great windows and built-ins, a fireplace. I feel like this is gonna come together so nicely. I'm already envisioning all of my plants over here, like the TV, the couch, the chairs. This is definitely one of my favorite parts of the house. And then coming back through this entryway, we have the kitchen. Again, this house is massive. So over here, I just have a mat for Leo's food, which will eventually be here. We have some trash to take out, and then a ton of space in here. I am obsessed with this kitchen. I feel like it's so cute. It still has character, but it's updated, and so much countertop space, which will be really nice. There's a ton of cabinets for organization as well. I am so excited for all my stuff to get here so I can fully go through and organize everything. And then coming out this way, we have the dining room area. I don't think we're gonna do anything too crazy in here. I think it'll just be my big table, all of the chairs around it. And then I was thinking of getting a bench over here just to like drop stuff and have somewhere to sit. Ignore all of that. I ordered some stuff through Chewy to get here before Leo and I arrived. And then coming through this way, I have this door shut just because, again, it's super echoey right now. This is the rest of the house. There's a storage closet here, in here. Main bathroom is in here. Really great lighting and just cozy little space. And then coming back around here, we have what will eventually be my office. Right now, this is kind of the Leo drop zone as he gets a little bit more used to the house. So Leo is curled up in the suitcase there. I just have an air mattress here temporarily. I am so excited to get my desk and all of my furniture in here. I have no idea how I'm going to lay this out, but it's a really great room. I love all the storage it has. The closets in here are really great, and the windows are so bright, which I love. And then coming through here, this is something that we found in a lot of the homes that we toured, which I've never seen in any other city, but I guess I haven't toured homes and apartments in that many cities. But it's basically a Jack and Jill concept, like a bathroom, but it's just another room. So we've been joking that this is going to be the pets room. Honestly, we have so much space in here that we might genuinely put the pets' beds in here and give them like a little space to just hang out. So for the time being, this is where we brought Leo in when we got back from the airport immediately. So his feeder's here, water. He has his temporary litter box in there, and then a little chair so he can watch out on the backyard and see out of the windows. And then coming over this way, we have the main bedroom. So definitely a lot of stuff that we need to do here, but again, really great lighting. Josh already put together the bed frame, which was super helpful. And then we have the mattress and some bedding to unbox later. His dresser from his last place is here, but I think we want to get something a little bit wider to put in between these sconces over here. And then I'm thinking maybe like a big mirror here. And then the closet in here is pretty big as well. Most of his clothes are downstairs right now. I just threw in what was in one of my suitcases, which is not a lot. I guarantee you none of this is going to stay where it is, but for the time being, I just kind of dropped everything in there. And then this door brings you back out to the stairs. And then coming downstairs, we have a couple rooms down here as well. Right when you get off the stairs, there's a bathroom. We have a guest room around the corner, garage, laundry. And then over here, we have essentially a second living room. Josh's office is over there. And then there's a really great backyard space as well. I'm excited to fill in some of these planters back here and see the space come to life a little bit more. I just drove over to Target. There's a few small things that I need. I need new deodorant and razors, which are like on the absolute essentials of today. But there's also just like a few small things I want to get to try to feel a little bit more normal in my routine. I don't particularly know what those are yet, but I feel like when I see them, I'll know them. That's the plan. And then I want to stop by a Starbucks. I think there's one right across the street. There's a Phil's, which is also super tempting because I am obsessed with Phil's and I'm really excited to be near it again because they closed all the ones in DC a couple years ago. My desire to start pumpkin season is a little bit bigger than my desire for Phil's, so that's on the agenda. I have a lot of editing I need to do today, so this is kind of like my big outing for the day. I have been tracking my other stuff. My car is yet to be picked up, which I don't love, but I'm trying to be super chill about that. And then the pod has left the warehouse. Unfortunately, it is in New Jersey right now. So I'm hoping that comes west at some point. But yeah, gonna go to Target, gonna grab coffee, and then I'll do a quick haul when I get back. Every time I talk in here, it feels so loud, even though I'm barely projecting my voice, just because there's essentially no furniture or rugs or anything to absorb the sound. But I was planning on doing a more formal Target haul, but as you guys saw, I got nothing interesting, so I figured we'd skip past that. I do have a couple packages here that I had sent to the house already. This one is a mattress, so I think you guys will be seeing more like a full unboxing of this in probably 2 or 3 weeks from this video. And then next to that, I don't know if you can see, there's a big box from Brooklinen that I am so excited to unbox. That'll be the next video on this channel. And then I ordered a couple of smaller things as well. I think this is the least interesting, so we'll start with that. I ordered 2 shower curtains because we have a bathroom upstairs and downstairs, as you guys just saw. But I didn't realize the one upstairs kind of curves around, so I think I'll have to return at least one of these, but I was hoping it was that kind of like terry cloth type material or microfiber material. I got that tip from Caroline Winkler's channel. I don't even know when she mentioned that, but at some point on her channel, she was doing either like a bathroom renovation or some sort of tips video, and she brought up the concept of using microfiber curtain liners instead of the plastic ones, and that changed my life. It's like a $10 fix and makes your shower feel so much more luxurious than the plasticky ones. The plastic ones just like kind of make my skin crawl for some reason. I don't like, something about them just feels so slimy, and the microfiber ones you can just throw in the wash anytime they start to get gross. So I ordered this one. I don't know, I really liked the one in my last apartment, and this one looks fine. But like I said, I think I'll have to return one of them because of the wraparound. I need to figure out how to measure that. I don't know. I thought honestly shower curtains were just like one width. I know there's different lengths. But I think, I don't know, this is 72 by 72. I guess I'll test this one out downstairs and then we'll go from there. And then the last thing I got is a little bit more exciting. It's from, I don't even remember the name of the store. I saw it on TikTok. It's essentially a double-sided Octobuddy because I really liked using mine, but it kept unsticking from my phone cases, and it also sticks to anything. Like you put it down on your desk, it sticks. You put it down on the counter, it sticks. And it also didn't work with my car mount. So I saw this and I thought that this could be a really good solution. The store is called Called to Surf, which I have never heard of. It's the Grip and Stick by Cove. And I got it in this light blue color, which I really like. Everything in my life is so neutral and I have trouble committing to color. So this is like a perfect compromise. I feel like this is so much better because it's clearly on there, but I can also just rip it off. And this fits in like a purse, a going out bag, your pockets. It's just so much more compact. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this first moving vlog here because I'm getting really overwhelmed at the amount of footage I have to edit, to be honest, and every other video I need to plan out on this channel. So I think we're just gonna call this one here, and then I'll start fresh tomorrow morning and show you guys a little bit more of like unpacking my stuff and setting up the bedroom and more exciting like home updates versus like physical moving vlog, if that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.